We've looked at already two poems by John Donne. One, the Holy Sonnets, which showed a certain Catholic take on God, even though we have to admit that John Donne converted to Anglicanism, but they share certain characteristics, and that word divorce played into that. And then we looked at his funny love inquiry in The Flea. I want to look today at the Canonization. It's a 5-stanza poem in mixed meter, and it's a poem that plays with the medieval topos of love as holy, and that's why it's a canonization. Love makes saints, and how are saints made? Through suffering. And as you know, the original early saints died and were martyrs. Likewise, lovers die and are martyrs for love.
The Canonization by John Donne. For God's sake, hold your tongue, and let me love, or chide my palsy or my gout, my 5 gray hairs, or ruined fortune flout. With wealth your state, your mind with arts improve. Take you a course, get you a place, observe his honor or his grace, or the king's real or his stamped face, contemplate. What you will, approve, so you will let me love. Alas, alas, who's injured by my love? What merchant's ships have my sighs drowned? Who says my tears have overflowed his ground? When did my colds of forward spring remove? When did the heats which my veins fill add one more to the plaguey bill? Soldiers find wars and lawyers find out still litigious men, which quarrels move, though she and I do love. Call us what you will, we are made such by love. Call her one, me another fly, we're tapers too, and at our own cost die. And we and us find the eagle and the dove. The phoenix riddle hath more wit by us. We two being one are it. So to one neutral thing both sexes fit. We die and rise the same and prove mysterious by this love. We can die by it, if not live by love, and if unfit for tombs and hearse our legend be, it will be fit for verse. And if no piece of chronicle we prove, we'll build in sonnets pretty rooms. As well a well-wrought urn becomes the greatest ashes, as half-acre tombs, and by these hymns all shall approve us canonized for love. And thus invoke us, you whom reverend love made one another's hermitage, you to whom love was peace that now is rage, who did the whole world's soul contract, and drove into the glasses of your eyes, so made such mirrors and such spies, that they did all to you epitomize. Countries, towns, courts beg from above a pattern of your love.
So what are the patterns? Take into consideration 17th century pronunciation. Love, gout, flout, improve, love, they rhyme. ABBA. Place, grace, face, it's a rhyme triplet. Approve, love, rhymed couplet. What about the meter? That's also a pattern. For God's sake, hold, and that of course is demotion, your tongue, caesura obviously, for God's sake hold your tongue, and let me live, iambic pentameter. Next line, or chide my palsy, or my gout, that's obviously promotion, or chide my palsy, or you can see why that would be right here, promotion, my gout. That's 4 feet, or iambic tetrameter. My 5 gray hairs, or ruined fortune flout, iambic pentameter, right? Looking at this 9-line stanza and how so many of the lines are indented. Part of those indentations sometimes are because of rhyme schemes. That's how some poems are laid out. Sometimes they relate to meter. In this case, I'm going to just use the syllabic counts just to clarify the stanza's mixed meter. 10 or iambic pentameter, 8 or iambic tetrameter, 10, 10, 8, 8, 10, 8, and this last one is very short. So you will let me love. 6 syllables or iambic trimeter. That's how the stanza looks. This playing with religious metaphors, for example, in Romeo and Juliet when they first meet and flirt with each other at the masquerade. And that dialogue about pilgrims and saints and shrines is also a sonnet, 14 lines. Here in the Canonization, the lover is an old man. He is a senex amans. For God's sake, hold your tongue. In other words, shut up. Be quiet and let me love. Or chide my palsy, blame my palsy or my gout. These are sicknesses, usually associated with old people. My 5 gray hairs, or ruined fortune flout, like mock or make fun of. With wealth your state, your mind with arts improve. Take you a course, get you a place. In other words, occupy yourself with other things, like getting money, getting new positions, new careers. Observe his honor or his grace. Follow the rules of the court and the king. Or the king's real, or a stamped face, meaning money. Just think about money. Contemplate. What you will approve, so you will let me love. Just let me do my thing. Let me love. Who's this poem addressed to? Even as an old man, who is harmed by his love? The poem is set up as a series of questions. Alas, alas, I love these pathetic exclamations, or exclamatio used for pathos. Alas, alas, who's injured by my love? Now here's the questions. The who, what, wheres, and whens. What merchant ships have my sighs drowned? Who says my tears have overflowed his ground? When did my colds a forward spring remove? When did the heats which my veins fill add one man to the plaguey bill? And since we're living now in the time of the plague, what he's saying is that what harms have I caused? When did my cold and my heat, this is antithesis, right? But these reflect love sickness, the old topos of love sickness. And in terms of the plaguey bill, when has his overheated part caused an infection that would cause a man to die of the plague and be put on a list of those who have died of the plague? And then he says, soldiers find wars and lawyers find out still litigious men. Like, soldiers are still doing their job, lawyers are still doing theirs. Which quarrels move, though she and I do love. She and him, a young woman and an old man, are in love. Who cares? The poem then suddenly becomes Petrarchan. In their struggle, their love is like the phoenix. Call us what you will, we are made such by love. Love has made us who we are. Call her one, me another fly. We're tapers too, at our own cost die. In other words, they're like moths to the flame. And we in us find the eagle and the dove. These are all chemical images. The phoenix riddle hath more wit by us. They're adding value. We two being one are it. So to one neutral thing both sexes fit. We die and rise the same, and prove mysterious by this love. Like this love makes them a mystery. This is where Donne keeps alive the Petrarchan lover. We can die by it, if not live by love, because love either produces life or death, right? This is another example of antithesis. And if unfit for tombs and a hearse, our legend be, it will be fit for verse. So if we're not fit for a tomb, we'll be perfect for poetry. And if no piece of chronicle we prove, and remember chronicles, those large medieval histories. It also reminds you of Shakespeare's sonnet number 106, the medieval one we looked at. When in the chronicle of wasted time I see descriptions of the fairest wheat, in beauty making beautiful old rhyme in praise of ladies dead and lovely knights, then in the blazon of sweet beauty's best, of hand, of foot, of lip, of eye, of brow, I see their antique pen would have expressed even such a beauty as you master now. Now listen to this stanza from Donne's Canonization. We can die by it, if not live by love. And if unfit for tombs and a hearse, our legend be, it will be fit for verse. And if no piece of chronicle we prove, we'll build in sonnets pretty rooms. As well, a well-wrought urn becomes the greatest ashes as half-acre tombs. In other words, even a little urn that has a beautiful design is better than a huge monument or tomb. And by these hymns, these love poems, all shall approve or confirm us canonized for love. We get love and death. That's legendary, like Tristan and Isolde are legends. And legends are religious tales of saints and martyrs, people who suffer for the love of God. But legends like Tristan and Isolde also suffer for love. And that means, ultimately, poetry. That idea of sonnets as rooms is part of the tradition. Christopher Marlowe even described the sonnet as infinite riches in a little room. Here, the sonnet becomes a tomb in memoriam. And they will be canonized, made saints or martyrs of love. But there's a role for you too, and thus invoke us. Invoke, that's the invocatio, but not of the muse or of Mary, if we're thinking of the Prior's Tale and the Canterbury Tales, but them. Request them earnestly for their aid in loving and writing poetry. You who experienced love as they did. And thus invoke us, you whom reverend love, they who had doubts about them, now invoke them. You whom reverend love made one another's hermitage, you guys together made a dwelling of love. You to whom love was peace, that now is rage. It's again, love back and forth antithesis. Who did the whole world's soul contract and drove into the glasses of your eyes, like everything moved into you two alone. So made such mirrors and such spies that they did all to you epitomize. You know, like when you use a telescope, everything moves in. Countries, towns, courts, beg from above a pattern of your love. The pattern is their form of love, their rhyme schemes, their meters, their topoi. They can supply the blueprint for love and poetry. And that pattern is also a good way of thinking about George Herbert, who we will now get to in the next episode.
Alright guys, don't forget to like and subscribe and ring that notification bell.